our father Adam alayhi salam, there were creations before him, and one of these creations was the entity known as Iblis. And Iblis, from the beginning of time, as soon as he saw Adam, developed a feeling of jealousy, an extreme irrational hatred, a feeling of such evil that Iblis declared right then and there that he shall be an eternal enemy, not only to Adam, but to the wife of Adam and to the future children of Adam. The level of depravity, the level of irrational anger that Iblis had is something that is unparalleled in the creation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned us against Iblis from the very beginning of time. As soon as Iblis rebelled against our father Adam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions his story, and Allah says that Iblis said, أَرَأَيْتَكَ هَذَا الَّذِي كَرَّمْتَ عَلَيَّ. Iblis is challenging Allah, and Iblis said, do you see this being whom you preferred over me? Iblis is jealous. This being whom you preferred over me, لَإِنْ أَخَّرْتَنِ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. If you allow me to live until the day of judgment, then I shall misguide every one of his progeny. Allah Azza wa Jal tells us that this was the story of Iblis from the beginning of time. Iblis also challenged Allah and blamed Allah for his arrogance. Iblis says, قَالَ رَبِّ بِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي. My Lord, because you have deceived me. Iblis blamed Allah. That's his arrogance. It's not only angry at us, he's angry at Allah, blaming Allah. Rabbi bima aghwaytani. Ya Rabb, because you deceived me. Iblis says, لَأَقْعُدَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. I will sit waiting for them as they're coming down the straight path. His level of hatred, he is literally waiting for the rightly guided. He's waiting for the pious and righteous. He is waiting in anticipation to trap us. Then, ثُمَّ لَآتِيَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ. I will attack them from the front, وَعَنْ أَيْمَانِهِمْ, and from the right, وَعَنْ شَمَائِلِهِمْ, and from the left. وَلَا تَجِدُ أَكْثَرَهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ. And oh Allah, from now I'm telling you, I'm going to be so successful that the majority of this new creation, they will not be thankful to you. And Allah Azza wa Jal warned our mother and father as soon as they entered Jannah. Allah Azza wa Jal blessed them with Jannah. Allah says to Adam, وَقُلْنَا يَا آدَمُ اسْكُنْ أَنْتَ وَزَوْجُكَ الْجَنَّةِ. And as soon as they entered Jannah, Allah says to them, but be careful. Be careful, O Adam. إِنَّ هَذَا عَدُوٌّ لَكَ وَلِزَوْجِكَ. This being over here, pointing him out, this being is your enemy and the enemy of your wife, Hawa. The Quran tells us Adam was warned. Hawa was warned. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Adam down, He also warned Adam at that point in time that, oh Adam, the two of you are going to be fitnas to each other. Oh Adam, be careful, warn your children of this entity. Warn your children to not follow this one who misguided you, this one who caused your fall. And Allah sent prophet after prophet to warn us about the dangers of Iblis. Allah sends prophet after prophet, and on the day of judgment, Allah Azza wa Jal will remind mankind. Allah will say to mankind, O children of Adam, didn't I tell you, O children of Adam, أَلَّا تَعْبُدُ الشَّيْطَانِ? Didn't I tell you not to worship Shaytan? Didn't I tell you he is your clear enemy to you? Notice, at every stage of the creation, at every footstep of the beginning of time, Allah Azza wa Jal is warning Adam and the children of Adam about the dangers of Iblis. So in today's brief khutbah, let us talk a little bit about this reality, this entity known as Iblis. Iblis is of course his name. Shaytan is a description. Shaytan is his adjective, and it means the one who is obstinate, the one who is rebellious, the one who misguides. Everybody who turns you away from the path of Allah is a shaytan. There is one Iblis, there are many shaitans. Iblis is the proper name of the leader of the shaitans. Shaitans belong to jinn, shaitans belong to ins. Shaitan is anybody who's trying to take you away from the path. And the leader of those who want to take you away is Iblis. So the first question that arises that we ask ourselves is, what is the wisdom in the creation of Iblis? You know, many times our young son or daughter comes to us and says, Father, mother, abati, why did Allah create this evil being called Shaytan? Why did Allah create Iblis? I mean, forget children, sometimes we ask, why would Allah create Iblis? And the response to this is actually not simple to say, but we can respond preliminarily by stating the premise of this question is the assumption that Allah should create us and put us into Jannah immediately. There should be no evil, no pain, no suffering. We want to have ultimate peace immediately. And we say, but no, that's not this dunya. That's the next life. And we shall get that peace where there is no Iblis. We shall get that place of no pain, no evil, no suffering. But we have to earn it. We have to walk through this life avoiding the temptations of Iblis. The presumption that there should be no evil only comes from the mind of the one who thinks he's entitled. Since Allah created me, this world should be perfect. But we say, it is perfect for our time and place. And it is a stepping stone to the real perfection of the next. So there must be an element of Allah knows. We might not fully understand. And that's why even the angels ask, why would you do this, O Allah? And Allah says, I know what you do not know. So we begin by stating we must resign the wisdom of the creation of Iblis ultimately to Allah. But we can find some consolation in some aspects. And Ibn al-Qayyim, for example, in his famous book, Ighathat al-Lahafan, he actually has 25 pages dedicated to the question of why would Allah create Iblis. And he has wisdoms that are very profound. You will find some translations of this document in English somewhere online. But I'll summarize some of these points. Ibn al-Qayyim says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala desires the purity of His followers. Allah desires the iman and taqwa, the isti'adah, the tawakkul, the inaba. Allah desires the piety of the righteous. And that piety shall only be manifested by fighting against Iblis. There must be an Iblis that manifests the piety of the righteous people. And so, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed this evil entity to exist, it is not because He likes the evil. It is because He loves the piety that comes in combating the evil. The righteousness that comes in overcoming that evil. Also of the wisdoms is that Allah Azza wa Jal personified evil. Can you imagine if evil were some type of cosmic force? If evil were not an actual created entity, what would we do then? But we have evil personified in one being, one entity. And we thank Allah for this because we can now feel a sense of consolation knowing that evil is manifested in one makhluk. And this makhluk is not all-powerful. This makhluk is not God. This makhluk is a creation of Allah. And so evil can be conquered when we turn to the one who created this entity. So we thank Allah that evil can be personified in one being. We know that being. We have been told to take precautions against that being. Also of the wisdoms is a lesson for all of us in the story of our father Adam alayhi salam. Iblis is no stranger to humanity. Imagine if we had somebody who showed no enmity to us, no harm to us. We would say, how can we be scared of this entity? Why should we hate this entity? But Allah Azza wa Jalla in His wisdom allowed the same entity to be the cause of the downfall of our mother and father. The same entity to do what He did to Adam and Hawa. The same entity to continue to fight every single prophet. And so when we have one particular entity whom history has shown has caused so much damage, then how can we not take precautions? How can we not feel a sense of genuine anger at this entity and turn to Allah to protect ourselves from this entity? Also of the wisdoms of the creation of this evil known as Iblis is that we see the diversity of the power of Allah Azza wa Jal. He creates the best of the best and He creates other than this. He creates Jibreel and Mikael and He creates Iblis and the jinn. He creates the prophets and He creates Fir'aun and Abu Lahab and all the rest of them. So Allah Azza wa Jal's qudra is manifested. Allah's power is manifested. And in this we are in awe at the magnificence of the Creator. of the wisdoms of the creation of this entity is that we can truly appreciate good only by contrasting it with evil. We can appreciate beauty when we see what exactly is ugly. We can appreciate the brightness of the day only after the darkness of the night. So by having these contrasts and by knowing how evil an entity can be, because in the end of the day, the evil of Iblis is completely irrational. He gains nothing by misguiding us. He's going to Jahannam anyway. He gains nothing by causing us harm. What an irrational evil is this? And we have done nothing to him such that he's an enemy to us. But when that evil is there, so then we are able to understand that there's a particular being, a makhluk of Allah, who harbors so much evil that we have to take our precautions. We have to be careful, and this helps us be more righteous.